WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots. All right, second time is a charm. This time it's going to work. I promise this time is going to be different. Welcome, everybody, to the second iteration of Friday Night Freedom. My name is Kaz, and today is the 18th day of September, 2020. I'm joined here by Mr. POOKY is hanging out with me here. How you doing, Mr. POOKY?
Doing fantastic.
Oh, man. This is a whole lot better.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to actually hear you.
Okay, well, welcome to Friday. I think everything is up and running the way it ought to be. So unless I get hit by a meteor or get attacked by another tropical storm, I think we're going to be okay. So I ended the last right before we got rudely disconnected from our beloved audience. We were talking about the 2020 hurricane season and how nuts it's been. They've run out of letters, Pookie. They ran out of letters.
The Greek letters now, right? Like beta or something like that.
We're at beta. When I put all of this information together today, we were at Willard. What's his name? Wilfred. Hurricane or tropical storm Wilfred. But now they of course that was the end. So now they're going into the Greek alphabet, and now Alpha is somewhere. But Beta is right here in the Gulf of Mexico, getting ready to make Texas and Louisiana probably a little wet. And Mexico, of course, we can't forget our neighbors to the south.
I was looking at the spaghetti model for that today, and I was like, man, that thing looks drunk.
Oh, is it going a little bit everywhere?
It's just the cone of uncertainties is this big circle on the Gulf. They have no idea where it's going.
It's going to be somewhere. Yeah, I didn't see the cone. I just saw the just all those named storms that are in the Atlantic and in the Gulf.
Yeah, I don't think really much is gonna coming out of the Atlantic right now is really much gonna hit the states, except for that one that might hit Maine. They're saying, but besides that, it's.
Yeah, they had one that was swirling about and it nailed Bermuda. Was it Bermuda or was it? Yeah, I think it was Bermuda.
Yeah, one hit Bermuda just recently, and then there's that other one. I can't remember the name of it. That's going up that way right now.
Yeah, here's my little hurricane graphic here.
Yes, Teddy's the one that might hit Bermuda.
Teddy. How do they come up with these names? They just kind of do like a random name generator based on the letter. I know there's probably some kind of a process to it.
I think they just kind of sit down and write down names pretty much. This is the way it works.
I remember.
I know if a hurricane's bad enough, though, however, if it does significant damage, they retire the name forever at that point.
I think last year it was like Spanish names, I think. I really don't know. I mean, when the year ends, I forget. I'm in a part of the country. I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so hopefully maybe we get a little bit of rain out of the deal. Sometimes you're more
on that side where them firestorms are coming in. You got to start worrying about them things.
Yeah, we get a lot of fire. What the heck? The National Weather Service puts out a warning. It's like it's a fire warning or a favorable fire warning, and all that means is we haven't had rain in a while, and the winds are over a certain speed in knots, and if there's a fire that breaks out, it spreads very, very quickly. I had a friend of mine lived in
anything's burning around me right now.
I think a friend of mine lived in like New Mexico or Arizona, and they have flaming. And I think Mom can attest to this. Maybe even in the El Paso area, there's flaming tumbleweed warnings.
What?
Flaming tumbleweed warnings, dude. You want to know? When the wind blows, all that sage breaks loose. All the dead sage breaks loose, and it tumbles. It's like a tumbleweed. That's its job. That's what it does. Well, so you have fence lines that just pile up with these tumbleweeds. Imagine you're driving down the road and like these guys are on fire. That's some 2020 shit right there.
That would be insane, because I went out to White Sands, New Mexico a couple of times because I was in the MLRS unit while I was in the Army, and them tumbleweeds are insane. Like, we set concertina wire up, and you'd like turn around and like within 30 seconds there'd be like just massive wall of tumbleweeds for like days.
Yeah, and it's a little bit more serious. And come here, Private, go and clear out the tumbleweeds, because there's tons of them, and they just keep coming.
Yeah, there's no fighting that.
Great. So I guess next on the little discussion list, I was going to talk about China.
Oh, don't get me going with this.
It's an interesting article. It was really an interesting article because just the way it's a well-balanced article.
I was reading it earlier and I was like, wow, that really ties in with what's going on with the news right now. I don't know if you've seen with D. Treasy and his little TikTok war that he's having right now. What
do you think about that? Okay, I don't use TikTok. I am on the receiving end of a lot of people posting TikTok videos, and I enjoy them a lot. What is the concern about what TikTok is?
Okay, I'm libertarian me. I don't give a shit. All right, use whatever the hell you want. But network security, national security level, that's some scary shit, man. Like, I mean, I don't know, sources throughout the internet are saying that it is a little bit more nefarious than what people are putting out to be. And, you got them little teenage girls like to be dancing and doing their lip syncing and stuff to it. And there's funny videos on there, some really serious political commentary on there. But, I mean, besides that, I mean, the data mining that's going on is a little sketchy and scary if you think about it.
Okay, but is it any different? And I think I can see it from a national security point when you get soldiers, and I'm going to say soldiers just because I'm Army, so everyone troops. Our armed forces are out there, and they're present on social media, so they're doing their TikTok videos. Now, I guess whomever maintains those servers is actually receiving geodata, so I guess that might be an issue.
Much so. Geodata is scary, but the other part of it is say for instance. Like you don't have TikTok and you don't use it, but then you have a friend come over to your house, right?
Yeah.
And they have TikTok on their phone and they join your network.
Oh, like if they get on my Wi-Fi, okay.
Yes. Now your entire network is compromised. They're pulling all your data, even though you don't agree to the service.
Huh. Okay. So President Trump says that he wants, he doesn't mind TikTok. He just minds that it's owned and operated on a server farm that he can't control or is not under any jurisdictional rules or whatever. They can't do anything.
That's kind of like where he's going with it. The ban's, it's not really a ban. It's going to be removed from what I read. It's going to be removed from the Play Store Sunday.
That's what I understand.
They have till November 12th or 19th or something, like 12th or 19th, to get their shit straight, or it's going to be banned permanently in the States. Because I think 52 countries have already banned it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the United States, but everyone likes to blame this is Trump's fault.
Well, no, people were like, I mean, I was perusing Twitter, and I don't really post much to Twitter, but I kind of like love to lurk on it. But people are like, oh, he's more worried about that than coronavirus and this and that, and there's other issues you could be worried about. And I'm like I'm thinking national security level kind of thing, because if this program is nefarious as people are saying it to be, what's to say that they can't execute some end command and turn every cell phone into some sort of like botnet and shut the entire United States internet down at a whim?
That's a really interesting point. I don't know. I like technology. I like technology, but I don't completely understand it. I like to use it. I know enough about technology to get in trouble. I do my job very, very well, and it does involve technology. But as far as on the personal side of things, It's really kind of crazy, man. And I think most people are like that if they're not technologically savvy, meaning they understand the ins and outs and how all the nuts and bolts go together. It's basically you're a user and everything is fine as long as you're using it and it works. Like I was fine with with using our telephone system tonight until it didn't work, and then I just didn't know what the fuck to do.
There's only two industries that call their consumers users, and that's software industry and the drug industry.
Oh, geez.
Interesting. Hey, I'm back.
Oh, wow.
I see.
Whoa.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while since we've heard this silky, sexy voice. This is our mom. This is Mom.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all. How you doing? Very glad
Sorry,
you
I
could
didn't
join
mean to,
us.
like, interrupt.
You're a TikToker, aren't you, Mom?
Yes, I love TikTok. There's so much funny shit on there.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so are you a consumer of TikTok, or do you? I've seen that you've produced a couple of little videos.
Both. I haven't done it in a while, like produced, because I've been busy with the kids, back to school, and like doing my Etsy business. But yeah, I'm both.
You're both.
Unfortunately, I guess you could say.
So TikTok is going to be banned. And all that means it's not like all of a sudden you're going to wake up on Sunday or Monday morning and your app isn't going to work. They're just going to, you're not going to be able to download it. And those who have TikTok are not going to be able to download updates.
Which sucks.
Scary. That's a scary thing on the technology side of it. Because if they do ban it in the United States, you're going to have a whole bunch of people running out of date software with a bunch of security exploits too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to create another issue.
So what if you sign into a VPN to a country that is not banning TikTok?
Yeah. Well,
But here's the other thing too, like our country is already banning apps, what we can and cannot do. Like, isn't that kind of like, I'm going to be devil's advocate here against the First Amendment? Like, no, think about it though.
I mean, you have the freedom of speech, but you don't have the freedom to use. I don't know how to. That is kind of a sketchy area.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like that thin line right there. So, like, what's next? We can't use Facebook, like, because a certain politician doesn't like Facebook being used as a political tool, or I don't know what other apps are out there. Snapchat, Instagram.
Blair Whitney said WeChat is more significant than TikTok. That's another service that I don't use, and I've heard also that
it's very nefarious. Another nefarious program.
What is the other one? WhatsApp.
Okay,
yeah.
WhatsApp is owned by Facebook, but it is like, what is it? Like, you cannot encrypt anything with each conversation, and I love it because I get to troll scammers on it.
I've seen some of those conversation threads.
Yeah.
You're a very busy lady.
Yes, I am.
So WhatsApp means you can't encrypt your data, and it can be I think it's about as secure, maybe less secure than Zoom.
It is.
Okay.
Basically, it's like undetectable almost, if that makes sense. So like when you're on Facebook with Messenger, when scammers are kind of like all of a sudden when they go to like, hey, let's hang out on WhatsApp or Google Hangouts. Both of those things are like the whole cryptid data bullshit. It cannot be traced. I mean, it can be, but it's really hard.
Now, what about like Snapchat?
Snapchat. I mean, yes and no. I mean, if you have a court order, like all that shit can be dug up.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But with WhatsApp and Google Hangouts, it's more chances for them to kind of get in there before they are deleted or whatever, found out of them being a scammer from fucking Nigeria, Taiwan, Philippines, whatever.
Houston. I mean, anywhere.
Yeah.
It could be from anywhere. So anyway, this China story, I don't think anywhere in this China story they mention TikTok or the that other WeChat. It's just a state of things, because China's they've kind
their own thing.
They've kind of pissed their own bed, and it's just a matter of time before they're forced to lie in it, I think. The article reads,
they're going to just be like, okay, we give in.
I don't think they're just going to roll over, but the article reads, it seems clear now that COVID-19 will take place in world history as a seismic event of the seismic event of the 21st century, whose effects will only be fully understood over many years and even decades. What's also clear is that the United States-China relationship will change. Indeed, it must change. The question is how and along what lines. It's a really well-written article because it's extremely unbiased. It's just throwing out facts and ideas. Among Americans, anger at China runs high. American voters may, in the short term, choose to blame the Trump administration at the polls in November of 2020. In the long term, whomever they vote for, most Americans understand that China is responsible for a global catastrophe that could have been greatly minimized or even averted entirely had Beijing simply told the truth about it from the beginning. No number of missteps from often bungling Western governments can disguise Beijing's fundamental capability. Recent polls in the United States suggest that Americans understand this. Overwhelming majorities blame China for causing this disaster. Moreover, the coronavirus has darkened Americans' view of China more broadly. A Pew poll showed 2/3 of American respondents now view China negatively. I'm not sure how many of those people viewed China negatively. I've always looked at China skeptically. Great, when our relationships are working out, but there's always the government controls everything. It's a communist country.
Well, in my personal opinion, I believe that they are right now the greatest adversary to the United States. I do believe that, economically and not quite militarily, but economically, yes, very much so.
Okay, so with all of that saying, here's the thing: like in the beginning, when all this happened, our government, including Trump, tried to stop like immigration and all shit coming in here into the United States when the whole coronavirus is happening, and he was deemed racist for that.
Yes.
So how can we just sit there and be like, okay, well, it's China's fault, but then Trump's opposition with politics, they're like, oh, it's your fault because you're trying to keep people, like Chinese people, from coming to the United States. That's racist. So it's kind of like a tit for tat. I don't want to say tit for tat, but it's like a catch-22. Like, what do you do?
I'm gonna say it right now. I'm not much of a Trump supporter, but
I mean, neither am I. Like, I'm definitely I'm libertarian, but like, what the fuck do you do? Like, you're trying to prevent this shit coming in, and people are like, oh, you're racist for doing that. But then you got the other side like, oh, you're not doing enough. Like, what the fuck do you do?
I think right now, no matter what President Trump does, he's gonna get grilled for it. He did want to.
Isn't Trump's fault at all, and if anything, it's Congress's fault because they're too busy worried about impeaching him when the shit was kicking off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, and I agree.
That definitely. I think that, in my opinion, that definitely did play a part. Their eye was not on the ball.
In the beginning of the year, that's all they cared about was impeaching him and not keeping an eye on what was actually going on, what was actually going to affect Americans and our economy. And here we are.
So now, I mean, President Trump's eye was on the ball, and he was trying to do something about it. And he was being accused of using this coronavirus to take the eye off of his impeachment. I think he was exactly where he should have been, as far as his mindset and whatever. I mean, he's got a lot to think about. He's got a lot to do. He's got a lot to pay attention to. And even when going through an impeachment process, which was, in my opinion, bogus, I mean, he was trying to do the right thing.
with the whole impeachment thing, they were literally trying to find anything and everything to go against him.
Wild
But
goose chase.
huh?
So this is a wild goose chase is all it was. It was just
It
they were just
was. But then
around
like
just
when
eating every bush just to find anything.
exactly, and then when this whole coronavirus happened, like he was trying to get in front of it, and that's all Congress cared about was fighting or whatever with the impeachment. That's all they cared about. And then like by the time March happened, it was too late.
It was too late, and for weeks, there's documentation showing an enormous amount of Chinese tourists, Chinese travelers coming into northern Italy, the West Coast, L.A., San Francisco, and in Seattle, and also Chicago, and New York City, as well. And those
is a form of biological warfare at that point.
Right. There's so much, and there was a bunch of videos that were taken down off of Facebook. It was a Chinese scientist, a virologist, saying that this was manufactured in China. Obviously, it was released on purpose by China, but then all of those videos got kind of muted and shut down.
Oh, just a couple weeks ago, that was big on the news, and when I went to look up the article, I was like, "Where did it go? Where did it disappear? It just like got buried under the 24-hour news cycle." Is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it, man, and how some politicians will choose to sacrifice the welfare and the well-being of the country just to forward whatever their political aspirations are.
Power grab. They want that power.
It's a power. It really is a power thing. And Tommy Lahren, she's a conservative commentator. She said, the Republicans or the conservatives are running on jobs and economic security and blah 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 blah. We have no problem winning, and I'm just like, you never know, man, because people, as far as candidate Joe Biden and Kamala Harris,
Sleepy Joe.
it's just they will vote for him in spite
just because he's Democratic.
Just because he's not Trump. He's not President Trump.
That's the whole. That's the whole platform. Is I'm not Trump.
Right.
That's it. That's the end of it.
But what kind of like grinds my gears, as you could put that, is how the beginning, like with the whole Democratic primaries, with to put fucking Biden as the
of all what was the
star
total? What was the total?
Tulsi Gabbard. What happened to Tulsi Gabbard? Because she would have been perfect right now.
Yes, exactly. And then he fucking so all these allegations against Biden about him being a sexual predator, X, Y, and Z. And then Kamala Harris is like, wow, I believe his victims. And then bam, all of a sudden, she's fucking running mate.
Conspiracy theory real quick. I like to put the temple. Go
ahead. Like, it's just, to me, it's like, I would have told him to fuck off if he really did that.
My whole tinfoil conspiracy is this is kind of like a proxy presidency thing going on right now, and they're not concerned with Biden becoming president.
They're more concerned about her becoming yeah.
Because what's going to happen?
I've read that too.
What's going to happen is he's either going to be found incompetent, dementia ridden, or whatever. Because he gets off planes and waves fields. And
did you see that he waved to what? Was it a fire truck?
Or let's play Despacito to the Latin American community, and what's it translated over to something like I'm coming up too softly to smell you or something like that. It's just like at this point it seems like elderly abuse, but I'm just
I don't know. I fear, and I've seen this. I've kind of laid off Twitter because it's just that's a dumpster fire. I think what I need to do is just get back on Twitter and just pay attention to the mill Twitter stuff, all the military related stuff, and all the things that matter to me. I follow people like AOC and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. And he doesn't. I'm sure he doesn't tweet himself. But man, it's so people fawning over them, but it's just funny to see AOC will tweet something. She can tweet something like, this kind of flour is the best flour to use to make tortillas. Whatever. Something super benign, nonpartisan or whatever. And then you see all these blue check marks, like, and then retweet, and then just say, oh, my queen, and you're the best thing, and this is awesome. So it goes out to all their blue check friends. You know, all those blue checks have people who are followers, and then all of those retweets go out to them. And so her footprint on the Twitter world is humongous.
Oh, it is.
Not just because of herself, but it's just all of the other blue check dumbasses that follow her. I'm not saying all blue check people are dumbasses, but it kind of seems that way.
Remember that meme a while back? What was it called? Ugandan Knuckles?
Yes.
I
picture Twitter. This is how I visualize
I know
Twitter.
the way.
There's a bunch of Ugandan Knuckles just running around going, I know the way. Do you not do no way? You know, and just like that. Like, we must protect the queen. We will spit on you. You know, like that's just Twitter. I mean, this is the best way to break it down.
Yeah, because, you know, I'm not going to pay for followers. I've got like maybe 50 or 60. And it's just, you know, we're, you know, common interest type things. Some of them are friends. Some of them are, you know, are station members or whatever. It's just, man, I just don't. I mean, Twitter, I love you, but man, it's just horrible. It's as bad
on Twitter.
If I could, if I could just like not Twitter and get rid of Facebook, I would be probably 10 times happier.
Yeah, Facebook has been really toxic though lately. It's just
it has been.
It has. You know what? I spend a lot of my time looking. I go to the watch tab, and there's like there's tons and tons of like rescue animal type things. We found this pregnant dog or whatever underneath a burned out car in California, and we coaxed her out and nursed her back to health, and now she's fine. So, you know, I like the wholesome, the feel good stuff, and I actively search out for that stuff. But even when you're doing that, you're going to get jackasses out there just trolling on purpose.
You see some of the most heinous things posted sometimes, and you're just like, how are they not getting blocked by that quote unquote community standards? You know, it's just like I said something one day. I said, I'm sorry. I think I apologized to a Canadian. I said, I'm sorry, but the majority of my fellow countrymen are not the brightest, and I got a Facebook ban for that.
What?
Yeah, I mean, I was speaking the truth. I'm like, the majority of Americans are not the brightest group. I mean, they're not the brightest crayons in the box. You know, it's truth.
So anyway, I mean, regardless, as far as, let's go back to China. Whatever happens, whomever the next president is going to have to deal with this.
It's an ongoing. It's going to be an ongoing thing. Definitely.
Years and years ago. I mean, we're talking 10 or 12 years ago. There was an author, I read some of his stuff, and he was just like, watch out for China. Watch out for China. Because they're just like this little sleeping giant, and they're just in the background. And that was when the Chinese economic boom happened.
A big bubble that's still going on, which I'm surprised hasn't busted yet. But
when it breaks.
The Chinese bubble is that is the mythical bubble of all bubbles, because it apparently does not bust. I don't know why, but I mean, I was reading an article in Forbes probably about 6 years ago about the Chinese bubble, and I've been waiting for it to go pop, but now it's so bad that I think like it would probably cause massive global issues at that point.
But since the see, I'm super nervous because the company that I work for has opened up shop in somewhere in China, and I don't agree with it. I mean, it's not my call, but man, they got. I mean, they've invested a lot of money in facilities over there, and it's just to sell them or to sell more aircraft. And it's like a contingency of, hey, this company wants to buy a bunch of aircraft, so a contingency of us buying several copies of an aircraft, a particular aircraft. A contingency on that would be you need to open up a service center here. So they would provide, not provide. I don't know the details of it, but all of a sudden we're building a bunch of facilities over there, completion centers and whatnot. And it's just, man, because China, it seems to me that the first damn thing that they're going to do is get a hold of all the documentation and they're going to be able to recreate whatever it is. Didn't they do the same thing with the Hummer?
As a well, pretty much. The corporate espionage going on right now.
Golly, yeah. And they've got no one to answer to.
No, they don't. I mean, they actually put one of our it was a green company. They were into wind turbines, and this guy designed this turbine motor and everything like that. And China hacked into their stuff and pretty much put him out of business, like overnight.
It's not even. They don't even have to hack. I mean, if you're over there and you have a service center,
well, yeah,
all of that documentation, all of the manuals are right there. There's no hacking. There's no hacking needed. You just get it. It's not like any Joe off the street can go and get it, but you get someone to buy an aircraft, and guess what? You get the documentation for that aircraft, and there's a lot of information in there. I don't know. I think we're in a precarious position as far as our relationship with China goes.
Well,
I don't know if you've seen what Japan's been doing kind of to combat the whole China thing right now. Is they've offered to purchase companies back. Like, we'll give you so many billions of dollars if you just bring all your stuff back.
Bring your stuff back to Japan.
Yeah, okay,
that's
isn't
awesome.
it like what we're trying to do with TikTok though?
I don't. I think it's the same but different. I don't think. I really don't think TikTok is a major same concept.
Oh,
Similar concept. I think it would be a similar concept because it's not like it's GM or something that employs thousands and tens of thousands of employees or whatnot.
I think it's like Oracle or Walmart or someone.
Oracle.
It was Microsoft. But now it's
Microsoft, yeah.
Well, it was originally Microsoft. Now I think Oracle or Walmart's looking into getting her hands on it.
Walmart?
But yes, I think I saw it on Forbes. They were talking about that.
I mean, like, honestly, like with any Fortune 500 company or whatever in this country, how can you not try and get your hands on TikTok?
That's an advertiser's dream at that point.
Exactly. Like, why? Like, you would dream to have that app right now, or the rights to it, to be able to do whatever, like to mind or mold the whatever you want people to buy.
You know whose opinion I would really be interested in hearing on TikTok is Mark Cuban. I would really like to know what his opinion is on TikTok and the sale of it and what you can do with it. I mean, the guy's got a good brain as far as technology goes. That's how he made his billions.
Yes, and my whole thing is like, I'm surprised they have not, like, nobody's come to agreement by now with TikTok with selling it. I
have no idea who owns it. It's just they're in for a humongous payday.
Oh, they are.
If they play their cards right.
Whoever invests, if it becomes a U.S. traded stock, whoever invests into it early on is going to be rolling in cash. If it doesn't open up at like $200 a share,
I would invest in it. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I think the cat's out of the bag on that. You need to get that on the front end. I think it might start high and then it's going to go down and then back up again. It's
like when Facebook first went public. I think they were like $38 a share or something like that, and they're like sitting at like 500 something now.
Yeah, they're huge.
They're about $500 a share right now.
Tesla's way up there, man. They were super high, and then they did a 5-to-1? No, an 8-to-1 split.
Yeah,
they did an 8-to-1 split at the end of August, and I still can't afford to buy a share. And it's just going to go up. Oh, speaking of that, I bought a car last Saturday. I just bought a car last August, a year ago, and the Ford called me up and said, "Hey, buddy, we want to look at your car and we're going to make you an offer." I said, "Okay, whatever. I'll come in there." So we did the show Friday night. I woke up Saturday, kind of. Ate breakfast and cleaned up a little bit and drove. I didn't, I took a shower and I'm just looking like a dad. I go over to the Ford place and they offered me like $2,000 more than what I owed on the car. So I was like, okay, I'm interested. And then I went on a test drive. I test drove 3 vehicles, and I ended up buying the same model car. I had a Ford Fusion, a 2016 Ford Fusion. I ended up buying a 2019 Ford Fusion, but it's a hybrid.
Oh, that's nice.
It's different, man. It's really different.
Is it like when you're sitting at the stoplight, dude? Does it like just cut off? Is that?
You can turn that off, but I don't, because dude, I'm getting anywhere. The miles per gallon on the sticker was 41 highway, 42 city. But when I drive to work, I pay attention the way that I drive, because you have to drive. You drive differently, because you've got an eco button. An eco button is for in-city driving. You take off the eco button for highway driving. So you pay attention to the way that you brake. They recommend that if there is a stop coming up, you start applying your brakes earlier, because that regenerates the power on the onboard battery, the big battery system in there. And so I've hit as high as 58 miles a gallon on certain drives. So I drive about 30 miles to and from work. So it's not bad. I'm kind of nervous about having because it's gas and electric. So it's not, I have to hunt for some place to plug it in. I didn't want a car like that. I didn't even want a hybrid when I was there. I was looking at like Mustangs, and of course I was looking at the Raptor, which is holy cow. That's a nice truck.
How much was that?
The one that was in the showroom.
64.
It was
70,000?
it was in the upper 50s or low 60s. But then they added some money because of these other packages that were installed. So I think it was probably mid 60s by the time that they were done with it. And there were really no incentives to buy that.
No, that's just like, I've got money to burn, and yeah,
they had a GT 500 in the showroom also, and that was dude. I think the MSRP is $65,000 on that car, and they add. There's no incentives to buy the GT 500. There's actually an added $35,000 after the MSRP, so you're paying like $95,000 or $100,000 for this car.
You know what Pip said?
What did Pip say? He said, I see that. He should have bought a matching minivan.
You could have my swagger wagon. I'm just saying.
I'm thinking, I think Spanky needs to buy a minivan for her daughter, who has just she's just reached her driving age.
Oh, the boy has reached his driving age. I gotta take him to get his learner's permit or some shit like that.
It was crazy, man. I had 2 daughters that hit driving age right around the same time. They're 2 years apart in age, and from it, when it was just my wife at the time and us driving, our insurance payment on the cars were this, okay? And then my oldest daughter, she started driving, and that literally doubled my insurance premiums. And then bringing up my daughter, my youngest daughter, when she got added to the insurance, that added probably $300 or $400 per 6 months. So it was like a pay raise when they got off of my car insurance. Because when my daughter lived with me here, I got divorced. I moved back to Texas, where I belong. My daughter was down here. She was going to college. So she was here. I'm like, hey, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to add you to my insurance. And then when she left, I'm just like, okay, I'll just change your address. And then my insurance company, I have AAA. They're like, well, if she's not living in Texas, we can't insure her in Montana. She's up in Montana. So
actually, Texas is one of the most expensive states to have insurance in, like car insurance.
Montana's not cheap either. It's pretty horrible.
Like I moved up here into Cincinnati, where I'm from, and it was just it was a huge difference, like almost $100. Heath
says my son has taken over my Subaru. We had I bought my wife at the time wanted a new car, and we ended up buying a Subaru Outback. That was probably the funnest car I've driven. That's really it's super fun to drive. If you ever get a chance to drive an Outback.
Subies are really nice vehicles.
Yes.
Okay, like, is it the whole 4-wheel drive, or you can do whatever?
It's all-wheel.
What?
It's an all-wheel drive vehicle.
All-wheel drive.
I mean, all-wheel, like whatever. Fucking like chick here.
There's a big difference between 4-wheel and all-wheel.
Right.
Oh, gotcha. Could you imagine a minivan and all-wheel drive?
They make those. Who makes
They
that?
do?
I don't know. I'm out of the minivan realm.
Toyota, I think, makes one. Correct me if I'm wrong.
There's a lot of grocery getters out there that are 4-wheel or not 4-wheel, all-wheel drive. Oh gosh, cheaper to have insurance in New York. I guess you can do that when you're in the military.
Why would it be cheaper to have in New York, of all places, really?
Yeah, right. Like, what about California versus Texas?
I don't know. In California, you probably have to pay like 30 different taxes on it, so probably.
Yeah, and then make sure you don't have like some extra fucking mag or whatever in your gun.
Oh no, there's no guns in California. You're not allowed to have guns. You have to have those. You can't even have lead bullets in California. You gotta have.
Really?
You gotta have steel. You gotta use steel.
Well, I thought you had to get a background check to even buy bullets now.
Oh, dude, I was talking to Owl, and you actually have to have. I don't know if you have a background check, but you have to fill out paperwork to get ammo. Here in Texas is great, dude. You just kind of walk in, and of course now there's kind of an ammo shortage, but you just walk in. It's like, man, give me some of that. It's just open on the shelves.
It's 2020 flexing. Is that
here in Ohio too?
Blair says USAA in California is actually pretty cheap. I don't know. I don't know. You know what's not cheap?
I had like an old '84 Suburban, and I think I was paying like $75 a month for my insurance, which I thought wasn't bad. You know,
as an older person, I really appreciate. I mean, I've got a brand new car, and you know, when I added this 2019, it only upped. I bought it. I went from a 2016 to a 2019 full coverage, and then I upped my uninsured motorists coverage because it's a more valuable car. I upped that, and it only increased my yearly premium by $54 or $56. So it's like $800. I'm paying like $800 or $900 a year for full coverage with uninsured motorists.
Not bad.
It's not bad at all.
Okay, Heath. He mentioned like Astro was Ford. He believes no, it was a Chevy.
Was that the Chevy Astro?
Because my parents bought one, and that shit fell apart soon as they drove it off the lot, brand new.
Oh man.
You know what van you need to get, the boy, is the A-Team van.
Yes.
Oh, a creeper van?
Yes.
Straight up rate mobile.
It's funny, when I was younger, we lived in, where did we live? We were in Wisconsin. And my grandparents lived in Cleveland, Ohio. That's where I was born. And my dad, for some reason, I have no idea why he did this, but he rented a van, and it was one of those A-Team looking vans. It was carpet on the inside, and there was room for everybody. It was that damn thing broke down as soon as we were going to leave Cleveland to come back to Wisconsin, and that damn thing. I mean, it's like the engine freaking caught on fire as we were pulling away. So I don't remember how my dad dealt with that. All I remember is it was the most comfortable 12-hour drive I've ever been on, because we used to drive it a lot during the summers, going from Wisconsin or from the Chicago area to Cleveland to visit my parents, and we always did it. And he had a Cutlass, and he had a Buick, and it was just, you know, Me and my brothers, crammed in the back seat, mom and dad in the front seat, smoking freaking cigarettes. And we're dying in the back seat, and that was it. That was our life. And then he ended up getting that van. Maybe he thought it was going to be a luxury experience or whatever for the 12-hour drive. That was back when speed limits were 55. So I don't know. But you know what? You know what else is kind of super expensive? Are you guys with me?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
No, what's expensive? is
we've
kids.
been talking about expensive stuff.
Getting married? That's
No.
expensive.
I'm just trying to.
Tell me about it. I just popped out COVID car a few months ago.
So in 18 years he's going to be graduating high school, and you'll be probably in your 40s.
Let's see. No, actually, I am 38 right now, so I will be. I don't know what.
56.
My 50s.
That's not bad. That's really not bad.
I wanted to be like the young grandma and stuff.
That's crazy. I work. I don't work. She's one of our janitors. She had her son at 15 years old, and she's just turning 31. Like next Friday is her birthday. She's 31, and her son's turning 16. That's nuts. So that right there is a young grandma.
Technically, she had him at like 15, 16, so it's not really super nuts.
No. It's young in my eyes.
It happens. Stop.
I mean, my girls are 20. They're gonna be 22 and 20. So that right there in my eyes is too young to have kids. So.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
They're not
I don't
married.
think anyone should have kids till they're 30. But that's
Exactly.
Really? I had the boy at 21 and Minnie at 24. So, I mean, they're great examples of society right now.
I had my oldest girl. I had her in 98. I was 20. I was in my mid 20s, 25 to 28 or something like that.
More like what not to do.
So anyway, we were talking about prices of things and insurance, and we were talking about China. So I'm going to get off the China thing. There is a super beer.
I read into this, and it's kind of interesting.
It is very interesting. So
what is this super beer?
two breweries that competed in a decade-long rivalry to create increasingly strong beers said that they have now worked together and created the world's strongest beer. 57.8. 57.8%, dude.
That's like having a fucking six-pack.
Right? That's 100 proof.
Fire.
That's
right.
57% is 100 proof.
Oh, I'm just the blonde here. I'm sorry.
114 proof.
James Watt, the CEO of Scottish brewer called Brewdog, said that the company worked with a German brewer called, I'm going to butcher this, and I apologize to all of our German folks here, Schorschbrau.
It sounds close enough.
Schorschbrau. Yeah, Schorschbrau. That's not that hard. They partnered with brewer Schorschbrau to create a beer named Strength in Numbers. The two breweries went back and forth for record beer strength several times over the years, creating beers that were 32% ABV and then increasing them up to 55%. After a decade, we're going to Germany to collaborate with Schorschbrau to see if we can up the ante once again. The Scots' contribution to the product was a barrel of their 26% ABV beer called Death or Glory. That's such a good name.
Love it.
And the next morning you're like, death.
And they aged that in a Scotch whiskey cask for 10 years. They sent it to Schorschbrau in Germany, but then coronavirus travel restrictions prevented them from traveling along with it, so they worked with the German brewers over Zoom. The beer was released in the UK last Thursday, and it was priced at 29 British pounds per bottle, or about $37 per bottle. They sold out in one day.
Oh, I believe it.
Imagine what that costs, or just tastes like. Just the.
It probably tastes rancid because I looked into the method of how they made it.
Okay.
And it's kind of like this. I was gonna say like a hillbilly way of making moonshine. I don't know the proper term for it. There's a German word for it.
I mean, you are our mountain man. I'm just saying, Pookie.
Well, I mean, okay, they take the beer. It might be high alcohol already at the point, but they freeze it and they take the water off of it.
Oh my gosh! So you do that over and over and over again. You remove all the water and then you up your ABV.
That's so what we used.
Ruins the taste.
Well, we used to do that with Kool-Aid. You need a little Kool-Aid, a little sugar, a little yeast, and you do that enough, you got some pure moonshine pretty much at that point.
So, Pip says, "I know a Raptor or two that would you could test that shit on." And I said, "Raptor 7 would be down for a taste test for sure."
I would just like to see someone chug it straight to the head and see what would happen.
It's just, it's 100 proof. It's 100 proof beer. I could not even imagine. I've had
whiskeys that aren't even that high of a proof.
I think I've had
like Everclear, right?
Yeah.
No,
Everclear's 200, isn't it?
2 or something.
Yeah.
It's almost pure ethanol at that point. Huh?
Let's see. 100 proof would be more like Old Granddad or
Wild Turkey.
Wild Turkey, yeah.
Perfect. Wild Turkey 101. That's 100. That's 50. That's 50.1% AVB or whatever it's called.
Woof.
So with the proof is all you do is double the alcohol content. So if it's like say 50%, it's 100 proof. Then if it's
40. Well, 40. 30% is 70. Oh my gosh, Pip's like butt chug that shit.
Oh my God, he would.
See, that would be illegal in most states in the United States.
I don't think that would be allowed in the United States.
I think what was it, Colorado, where they had that weird law where they can't have beer over like 3% or something like that.
Ooh, that explains Coors.
Well, I mean, here's a funny thing. Someone was telling me about this. I've never been to Colorado. My sister lives there. She don't drink, so I wouldn't be able to get the information from her. But someone was telling me in Colorado, the light beers are like 3 or almost 2%. But then like you leave the state, normal, like say Coors Light's like 4.2 or like something like that along the lines.
Like I think Kansas is the same way.
Oklahoma's got the near beer. They got that. What do they call that?
Yeah.
It's called near beer. It's not. It doesn't have. It has like half the alcohol.
It's called Nah. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
exactly what
and-
you're talking about. It's
Yeah, we read you loud and clear, Doc. We got it down with the half. So I don't know, man.
Someone told me the whole proofing thing came down to where they used to be able to, like back in the day when they're running rum, is what they would do is they would take a spoonful of gunpowder and they dip it in the alcohol, and if it's still lit, it was proofed. So that's where the proofing came from. And in order to proof for it to light, would it have to be 100 proof?
Doc says, "Bitch beer."
It's
I mean, a bottle. Let's just say Miller Lite is what 4%, 4.5.
something. I can't honestly. I know Bud Ice is 5.5. I know that much.
We have a brew. It's not a brewery. It's more of a bar down the street from where I work, and sometimes we meet there and have a pint or two. But they have like 120 beers on tap. But the thing is, these are all global beers, or like small batch brews. So you can go there 1 week and there'll be this selection of 100 beers. Or you can go back there 2 weeks later and the whole selection has changed and it's somebody different. But the most as far as ABV that I've had, I think it was like 12.5. So
I've had some ales that push like 14, maybe 15%.
It's probably I can just imagine that it's very uncomfortable to drink, and you don't drink a bottle. It's like you share a bottle with your friends.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like what average bottle of wine, I think it's 13, 12, maybe 12%.
Yeah, it's not.
So
it's nothing much.
You're looking at liquor levels at that point, so it's I don't know. It's probably to me it just sounded nasty, but I was like, all right. At what point is it beer and then liquor? You know.
Yeah, I think we've hit the liquor mark on this strength in numbers beer. I wonder if you can find that like on, you buy it to have it shipped out. But if they only had they had something that was sent to Germany from the Scots as an additive, or 27. It was like a 27% solution or whatever that they used. So this is definitely a small batch. Yeah. Imagine downing that and just going freaking crazy. I mean, drinking it like it's a beer. And then just
Now, my question is, would it go down like a beer or would it burn like liquor?
I think it would be both. I think you'd have head on your I think there would be head in your mug, but that would be like just lava underneath it. I would be willing to try it.
I'd take one for the team.
Sure. So hey, if Schwarzbrow wants to send us a bottle or two, get in touch with Mom here at WTF Nation Radio, and we can set it up. I'll pay shipping. I will pay shipping and insurance.
Sounds good.
Did you get any messages yet, Mom?
I'm waiting.
So, Mom, you're big on the Karen thing, aren't you? You're always posting like Karen videos and...
Yes, and I kind of have a group that says that's not very much live love of you of Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
So there's a...
What's the Karen thing now?
Oh my gosh. The name Karen. It's just the name Karen is falling off the favorable list as far as people are not naming their children Karen anymore.
Okay, I mean, honestly, think about it. Like, who has named their kid Greg or Gregory?
I work with a Greg.
Okay.
So there's one. I don't know. I don't know many Gregs. I don't think I know. I know one.
Penny here, she was like, when I was pregnant with COVID, Carl. She's like, you need to name him Greg because there hasn't been a name Greg in X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, no, this ain't your kid. Name your next kid Greg, or not next kid, but your own kid Greg. But yeah. Blair
Whitney says Karen porn is the new niche market, man. It's just funny and it's painful to see. I mean, and I feel bad for women that are actually named Karen that are well-behaved, responsible adults.
Like, are very good. Like, I know some Karens, they are the most, like, they're awesome people. My
platoon sergeant's wife, her name is Karen, and she is like the best human on the planet, in my opinion. And I just, and I send her Karen stuff all the time, and she's just like, fuck you. I was gonna ask Pookie. He had to blast off to go use the bathroom. Are we running late? We're just running differently because of my.
I apologize for that.
We're just
sitting there talking to a muted microphone.
We're just running a little bit differently because of our technical issues. So we're just gonna blast through this without a break. I had a really good. I'm gonna play a song. From a new, it's a new. I'm not going to do it now, but I'll do it during our closing. But it's a new song from. I have no idea how he got permission to play this. Do you know, Amy? I mean, Mom.
Maybe it's my secret.
It's your secret.
Yeah, my secret.
From Ashes to Omens. I mean, I don't know who came in contact with this band, but they. I've listened to it a couple of times, and it's really a fantastic song. So I'm gonna throw that over into my outro folder, so we get to listen to some new music at my outro. So there you go. Anyway, Pookie, do you have any favorite names as far as if you were to have children?
Oh,
what's your top two, or your
have children? Oh my God!
Your top choice for if you had a boy or if you had a girl.
Well, this may be a grandma.
If I had a boy, I'd probably Ragnar or
Oh gosh.
Ragnar, probably a good one. Maybe Thorin. I don't know. Chick. I don't know. Freya. Shahid. I don't know.
Oh, so you're into the I don't even know, Viking type stuff, or
Yeah.
that's cool. That's cool. What about you, Mom? I mean, I know you've got quite a brood going with you, but
So with COVID, Carl, his actual name is Matthew, and he is the last one.
well,
Yeah, he is, because next Thursday it's going to be Operation Uterus Yeetus.
uterus yeetus. When you posted that, I fucking lost it. You're gonna yeet the uterus.
Uterus Yeetus. Operation Uterus. Okay, so mainly, so 2020 with my family, I'm just going to open up right now. It's been kind of hard with my family. My mom, she currently has stage 4 cancer, breast cancer.
Oh, damn, dude.
My baby sister, she hasn't even hit 30 yet, has stage 3 breast cancer. And then when we did the whole genetic thing, I went and did the genetic thing, and I tested positive for the breast cancer gene. That was while I was pregnant with COVID Carl, and at that point in time, I was like, okay, there's not much I can do right now. So now, I can. So I'm going to eject that shit, because I don't want to get pregnant again. I'm done with kids, but I also don't want cancer. So
I mean, who would be like, cancer's not so bad.
And I feel bad.
Aside.
I feel bad for my baby sister because she doesn't have kids, and she did have her eggs freezed and extracted and stuff. So, but it's been hard this year for all of us, honestly. And so here I am. I'm having my Operation Uterus Yeetus because I'm done. But
Yeetus the fetus, or Yeetus the uterus. I'm sorry, no, it's not Yeetus the fetus. That's oh my gosh.
No, it's just, I mean, it is hard for it's, if anyone has ever seen, it's one thing to see your parent go through cancer, but your mom and your sister, and then I don't know how to put it. It's hard. So here I am, trying to prevent cancer, and I'm like, all right, cool, I can't get pregnant again, whatever. I'm not saying whatever because I don't care, but then to put it out there, next summer, I probably won't be around because I am going to be doing a double mastectomy.
Oof. Isn't that what what's her name? Oh my gosh, what's her name?
Angelina Jolie.
That's her. She did that. She was not having issues. She said mastectomy yeetus, or whatever, breastus yeetus.
Yeetus the breastus.
Yeetus the breastus, just because she didn't want to have to deal with that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to do.
God,
and
so much respect, man.
And stuff like that. Now I can do that and not have to pay oh, you're gonna, you're just doing it selectively. No, I'm not. Because considering with my mom, considering with my mom and my little sister, who is much younger than me, having cancer, I am at a very high risk for it right now.
That sucks, and it's scary. That's damn scary.
Well, it is. I'm just kind of okay, well.
I don't know what to say, dude. I'm without words, man. It sucks, but I think
I think that, and it does. It's just
you're doing what you need to do, or you could do nothing, and that's something to do. I mean, doing nothing is something to do, but then you don't know. You're rolling the dice.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I could just do that, but I mean, if insurance is going to pay for me to have new boobs, why not?
Oh, so you're not just going to lop them off. You're going to get some replacements.
Yeah, I mean, just put them back where they were when I was 19. Just why not?
or get the size that you want.
Honestly, like, I mean, the size that I want, like, I would go smaller, to be honest. Guys,
Silence. There's silence.
It's silence because my brain's clicking right now. I'm like thinking,
But in my mind, I've got these memes running like, what the fuck is breast reduction? Why?
like, no, like, I'm a 36 double D, and it's like, I mean, it's not big. I mean, it is big, but not like fucking huge.
They're
but, like,
bigger
it's
than
hard
my
to
man
fucking
boobs,
palm
so.
that size. I would love to be just a 36D and go to Walmart or some cheap place besides Victoria's Secret and get a fucking bra.
I don't have to worry about that.
I would hope not, Pookie. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I guess breast cancer in men is a thing. It's not a very
rare.
popular
It is a
thing.
You see,
So
what
here-
runs in my family is strokes, so I'm lucky. I'll just be walking and just that's it.
You just
Smell some burnt toast and then just be gone at that point. Yeah.
fucking eek, and then you're fucking checking out right there. And you'll be probably somewhere out fishing and out in the woods, and no one's gonna find you for like 2 weeks.
So, but here's the thing,
fair
like,
bait.
when, like, my mom and sister, they had a diagnosis, and we got genetically tested for breast cancer. I became positive. My one sister was negative. The other sister was positive. And, like, my kids right now, it's like a 50-50 thing. Even though you're male or female, with the BRCA2 gene, as a male, you have a higher chance of prostate or
Ball
Fuck.
cancer.
Yeah, ball cancer. Testicle cancer. Thank
The
you,
Hickey
Nini.
cancer?
Like,
Wait, you forgot the word testicles?
no, I did not. I was trying to articulate here, asshole.
She was trying to
But any-
testiculate. She was trying to testiculate the proper pronunciation of the condition.
No, but like, if that gene runs in your family and you go get tested and, like, say cause you have it,
Mhm.
you have a higher chance of having prostate or testicular cancer versus even breast cancer at that point. So it's kind of scary.
It is really scary because your propensity to or your susceptibility to certain diseases is a real thing. I just reached the magical age that a prostate exam is recommended. So I followed my doctor's advice, and she scheduled me for a prostate exam. Fortunately, COVID decided to show up, so my prostate exam got kind of pushed, and then it got pushed again, and then they're like, let's just do this. Then it was like an at home fecal exam, something. So I'm going to be really crude here. You basically shit on a napkin, and then you take this little probe and you kind of scrape it around, and then you stick it in this vial, and then you mail that vial back to the testing facility. And it came back, and it's like, well, you're all good. So I went and I did my genetic stuff. What is it? Ancestry.com.
Mm-hmm.
And with the medical addition to it, and it came back and it says you're good. You're not susceptible based on your genetics. You're not susceptible to any weird diseases or any exotic diseases.
You go on about that, like with colon cancer, which is one of the
that kills
main
people.
cancers.
That kills people quick.
Yes, it does. But now they have developed a system where not only, like, you don't have to go in to have to do the whole fucking colonoscopy and that. There's tests you can do where you just, like, as you said, shit on a napkin or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, but I don't mean to talk above like your educational level. So shitting on a napkin is basically.
I'd rather do that than a colonoscopy. I'm just saying.
Right.
Just shit in a bag, Pogue.
They and they offered that to me. they offered that to me after the fact that, that COVID showed up. It was going to be, I had to go to a class, and they were going to issue me this stuff to drink, and then, you shit your brains out for a couple of hours, and then you show up the next morning. And it really sucked because you had to provide your own transportation. So I had to talk with them and try to get, I'm like, I live alone. I don't have a spouse or anything. And everybody that I work with, like, lives not anywhere near me. Oh, okay. So I don't want to put anyone else out. So I was going to have a VA, and they have volunteers at my VA center that will drive people to and from appointments. Good, but it has to be somebody, because you get sedated and you lay on this table and they do their thing and snip whatever they need to snip. And then you go home, and then you're kind of jacked up for the rest of the day. So it has to be somebody who is physically responsible for you. And I was like, dude, I'll pay for an Uber to drive me home. And they're like, no, that's not going to work. They don't accept that.
I know DAV does a lot of that, no?
Yeah. There's a DAV van that I see a lot outside of our VA center. But yeah, the test results came back, and I checked them online. I'm like, I guess I'm good. And my VA doc didn't call me, so that's awesome. But I could not imagine actually testing, like, hey, you need to be aware that you have this that makes you susceptible to certain things. That would suck, because you pass that down to your kids. So now your children, all 47 of them, have to be concerned or actually be tested after they get of a certain age to see how their bodies are doing, or maybe test more often than a normal person.
I would just have to say, if it runs in your family pretty heavily, or you have the genetics for it, just get tested. Like, don't fight it. Just go and get the test done. I mean, it's much cheaper to get the test done, and then wham, bam, you have fucking cancer, and then you gotta, come up with all this money to fight it. Does that make sense?
Or it's one of those things, you go and you get tested, and then it's like, okay, you can get this on the front end rather than, and I've seen, like, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. Ruth Bader Ginsburg died today. If you guys hadn't heard.
Yes.
RBG, she died, and I'm guessing, I didn't read the article, but it's it's probably it's complications due to her recovery from pancreatic cancer, which is an immensely violent form of cancer. It's horrible. It is absolutely horrible.
Like COVID, Carl's grandmother on his father's side passed from pancreatic cancer. Like, he will never get to know his grandmother on that side.
And it happens very quickly. I had a coworker, an engineer friend of mine. He was a little bit older than I was, or am, but he had a back injury. So he went to the doctor. The doctor said, here, we're going to give you some a steroid treatment, and that will allow your body to kind of rebuild the muscles. He was a little bit overweight. They said, hey, you got to lose some weight, eat healthier. He's like, no problem. So he was, he had his appetite completely turned around. I mean, he was, during break time, instead of, going out and smoking a cigarette, he was sitting at his desk eating strawberries. Lunchtime, he was eating salads. He was losing weight. He was looking better. He had a lot more energy. And then he went back for a follow-up with the doctor. And the doctor said, dude, you've got pancreatic cancer that needs to be addressed. So he took some time off of work, and the next time that I saw him, he was in the casket. It was at his funeral. And this maybe from his diagnosis until the time of his funeral was like 3 months. That shit is so aggressive. And he didn't look like him. He looked like somebody completely different laying in the casket. It was shocking to me. I'm sure it was shocking to him and his family. I'm good friends with his son. So it's just any type of cancer is probably just crappy. And D-Max was talking about Twyla. Apparently, she had some obviously she had some underlying medical issues that were undiscovered. Young lady, dude. She was maybe 30. I don't know what her age was, but she passed recently, and that was a shocker to me. So yeah, go and get tested.
Yeah, get tested. Cancer sucks.
Cancer really sucks. I get really nervous with my parents. My parents are older, and they're back up into Wisconsin. She was 32. Twyla was 32. If anybody knew her back in the OG days, I mean, she was a Fur Bikini. Probably one of the first fans here on WTF Nation Radio. And yeah, she passed.
Shit. Fur Bikini?
Yeah.
Holy fuck! I didn't know about that. Huh?
Yeah, that happened just a short time. I'm like weeks ago.
I didn't.
Maybe a month.
I'm just hearing about that. That's actually shocking to me. Yeah. I hope her husband is doing okay. I mean, he's a disabled veteran. She was so active in the veteran community. A lot of veteran advocacy type stuff. I think they were the recipients of a house and stuff because of her husband's injuries. So wow, yeah, that was pretty heavy, man. I was very, very sad to hear that. Oh my gosh. Friday night, man. I don't like to be a bummer. So let's we got to get into something a little bit happier. So everybody knows here that, especially our U.S. residents, United States of America is the greatest fucking country in the world. There is no other country even if I were homeless, I would rather be homeless in the United States of America than anywhere else. I can't pick a better country. And there was a radio commentator, Ken Hamblin. He's known as the Black Avenger. He broadcasted out of a studio in Colorado somewhere. And he was a black guy, very conservative dude. And he's just like, he wrote a book called Pick a Better Country. And I read it. And I was like, we've got such a great country here. But we get millions and millions of visitors every year. So a poll, I think it was a poll, it was like a question. It was a question put out that says, what was your biggest surprise? After visiting the United States of America, what was your biggest surprise? So the question was posed, non-Americans who have visited the United States, what surprised you the most when you visited? And there's a few, there's probably 20 answers here. But the answers to me as an American, they're surprising to me. So, and these are in no particular order. It's not like most people said this. These are just list 1 through whatever. So there's no level of importance here. So number 1, portion sizes. I thought it was just a joke in movies. Your smalls are bigger than our larges. Your large sodas are bigger than my head. That was one of the responses to what surprised you the most about your visit to the United States. Number 2, people still use cash. That's crazy to me because I use cash, I use card. It all depends. I budget, so what I normally do is if I know I'm going to be needing cash during the week or if I'm going to be spending money during the week, I'll go to the grocery store, I'll buy my groceries, and I'll get, 20, 40, 60 bucks out. And that'll be kind of like that'll be my walking around money or whatever. And then I don't, my debit card, when I look at my bank account, it's all, okay, I can see there's my mortgage, there's my car payment, there's insurance, there's blah, 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 blah. There's no,
it's very, very easy to budget. And when I graph all of this stuff out, I know exactly what goes towards entertainment and vehicles and my house and whatnot. Cash is king. You said cash is king?
Oh, cash is king. I prefer carrying cash around on me.
You know, I didn't have a credit card until after I got out of the Army. My wife, my ex-wife, she's just like, you need to get a credit card. I'm like, no, I don't, because I prefer to pay in cash. Cash is the best.
Cash is king. I learned this after the military because I got out of the military with almost $25,000 credit card debt. No, I finally got this shit straight. Yes,
dude,
I finally got it straight.
I got divorced and I was stuck with $25,000 in credit card debt. It sucked, dude, because I paid for it. I graduated college in 2001, and I met my wife while I was in the Army. I didn't want to get married while I was in the Army. So I got out. I was up for reenlistment. It was like a perfect thing, you know. I was ready to stay in, but you know, I wanted to marry this girl, so I got out of the Army and we got married. 1 year after I got out, we got married. Then a year after I had my first daughter. So everything was great. I graduated college. I was working and I went to school, graduated in 2001, and she already had a bachelor's at the time, and she's like, okay, I want to go for my master's. I'm like, okay, no problem. So we never took out any loans or student aid or anything. All that shit was put on the credit card. So I paid for her master's degree, and we were at her graduation when she got her master's. And I'm like, woohoo, we're done. And she's like, I start my PhD in 2 weeks. I'm like, son of a bitch.
That's rough.
So when we got divorced, we were married for a good long time, but we were paying out the ass for her education, and among other things, she had a spending issue, in my opinion. But yeah, I got stuck with probably $16,000 in credit card debt when we got divorced, and I just recovered from that. I just, like 2 months ago, I paid off my credit card. So now I've got no credit card debt, which is awesome. Super awesome. My credit score jumped up like 40 points. It was super awesome.
It's like getting a pay raise too when you don't have to pay that every month. It's just like, holy crap, I got all this extra money. I don't know what to do with it.
Absolutely. It's a really good feeling. And now I'm in the midst of, now I just got, I got a car. It's a really good car. I was driving an old 2001 Honda CRV that I drove for, since probably 2003. I bought it from my in-laws, and that's been my car. And I finally got rid of it. The AC was broke. Oh God, it was horrible. But yeah, I've got a good car now. I'm refinancing my house. I just bought this house that I'm in right now a couple of years ago, 2 years ago. So I'm refinancing.
Refinance too.
Now's a really good time to refinance. I'm going from, I was paying 5%, and I'm going to be paying 2.85.
That's sexy there.
It's very sexy. It lowered my interest, or I'm sorry, it lowered my my mortgage payment by like $120 a month, which is awesome. I'm going to pay the same amount. It's just all that extra money is going to be going towards principal.
It's kind of like weird. It's like I've heard so many people refinancing right now because the interest rates are so low. But you see the housing market right now, the price of the housing is like through the roof right now.
Yes. Yeah, they are.
There's like a big bubble going on. I'm still trying to figure that out.
There is another bubble, and I think within the next, especially with COVID-19, I think that there's going to be a mortgage, some kind of a financial bubble that's going to burst probably within the next 2 or 3 years. Because all of these people that have, when I go and make my mortgage payment, I've got an option. Do I want to defer? Do I want to just pay interest? And there's a lot of folks that are taking advantage of like not making a mortgage payment or just making interest payments, and they're going to dig themselves into a hole. Megan says her mortgage rate is 2.7. That is awesome. That is really awesome.
Yes.
But there's folks, when I bought my second or third house, there was like some kind of a financial incentive for people to get out of the ghetto area. So they were getting like negative financing. They were actually being paid to move into these houses. So these brand new houses on vacant land, their tax bill on the first year was a tax bill on vacant land. So their tax bill was like a couple of $100, but then you have improved land, and then your taxes are based on that improved land. So you go from a couple of $100 a year in taxes to $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 or $6,000 in taxes per year.
The taxes y'all be paying on property, man.
Yeah, this deferment trap, and Daniel Howard just mentioned that over in Facebook. Right now, a lot of people, not me in particular, they're experiencing this deferment of Social Security taxes, which is about a 6.2% savings on their income. It's not a problem. It really isn't a problem as long as you maintain your current spending practices. I mean,
yeah, if you play it smart and you save that.
Save it, put it away. Put it away, forget about it. Put it in your savings account and forget about it. Because within the first 4 months of 2021, they're going to take all that money back. This is not a gift. This is not a bonus. This is not a raise. This is like, they're just not taking out the taxes. In some situations, I think the entire military is doing this.
I can't wait to see how many privates wind up with a 27% interest rate freaking Dodge Charger sitting out in the damn
right.
parking lot. Oh, I get an extra 6%. I could afford this. I don't know.
So,
I think ICE was talking about this a while back. This whole deferment thing. But I always say, you pay the government and then pay yourself. You always give yourself 10%, and this is best practice.
You have to.
Best practice.
I think I invest. I live well beneath my means. I could be in a baller ass house with a baller ass car, but I don't want to be house poor. I don't want to be car poor because I'm just nervous. I've been laid off before, just out of the blue, just like, thank you for your service. We're going to let you go. Thank you for your 15 years that you've spent here at this company, but we're going to let you go. I've got that bad taste in my mouth. So I'm very frugal. I'm getting better at that. I do treat myself well. Every now
and then you got to treat yourself. You got to have fun every now and then, but just don't overdo it.
Megan, anyone in Washington want to buy a Mustang? No. Boy, they've been trying to sell that Mustang for a little while.
Is it a V6? That's probably why you can't sell
I don't know. Megan, hey, drop the details on your Mustang.
If it's an older, muscle-ish, maybe, I don't know. I like the 80s.